147,000 Pennsylvania coal miners went on strike over wages. The miners were able to achieve a 10% pay increase and a reduction in workday hours.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
All right, folks, Adam Keller here, and it's time to do a little bit of October labor history. So as we close out the month of October, I wanted to take a few minutes to share some of the October anniversaries in labor history. I compiled this information primarily from the 2022-23 edition of Planning to Change the World, a plan book for social justice educators. This excellent planner is published by the Education for Liberation Network, and I wanted to make sure I gave them full credit. So let's get started. October 1st was the first day of Disability Employment Awareness Month, which aims to raise awareness about disability employment issues and celebrate the contribution of workers with disabilities. October 1st was also the first day of LGBT History Month, which celebrates the lives and achievements of LGBT people. October 5th was World Teachers Day, which was inaugurated in 1994 to commemorate the signing of the UNESCO ILO recommendation concerning the status of teachers in 1966. Shout out to all the hardworking teachers who are making a difference in the lives of young people and in the broader community. 110 years ago, on October 9th, was the start of the Little Falls textile strike in New York. A mostly immigrant female workforce called the Red Sweater Girls at two textile mills began a wildcat strike to force their employer to follow a new state law limiting the work week for women and children to 54 hours. Several thousand workers participated, aided by organizers from the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World. Despite violent police oppression, the workers held out, and on January 3, 1913, they won the shortened work week with no reduction in pay. While recognized as the Columbus Day holiday in some quarters, October 10th was Indigenous Peoples Day, which began as a counter-celebration to Columbus Day in Berkeley, California. The goal was to commemorate Native American history and promote Native American cultures. And I'll add, in recent years, I've seen a significant shift in consciousness around the heroic myths surrounding Christopher Columbus and the true genocidal nature of Europe's colonization of the Americas. It's important to reckon with the real past so that we can understand our present and shape our future. October 17th is the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, promoting the need to eradicate poverty worldwide, especially in the global south. A good reminder of the struggles of so much of humanity, the reality that we can end poverty, and the urgent need to do so. October 18th is the 50th anniversary of the Clean Water Act, which is the primary federal law governing water pollution. The act aims at restoring and maintaining the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of the nation's waters. The Clean Water Act established national programs for the prevention, reduction, and elimination of pollution in navigable water and groundwater. It also set up water quality standards and required permits for discharge and treatment of wastewater and stormwater. Like all U.S. laws with even the potential to protect working people and our communities against corporate greed, the Clean Water Act has been under attack by capital and the right wing for these past 5 decades, and its future is at risk. And looking around our country, from the drinking water crisis in cities like Flint, Michigan and Jackson, Mississippi, to the droughts out west, to the ongoing sewage crisis in Alabama's Black Belt, it's obvious that we can and must do more to ensure everyone has a safe, reliable water supply. October 20th is the 80th anniversary of the Durham Manifesto, issued by the Southern Conference on Race Relations, held in North Carolina in 1942. The Durham Manifesto outlined the demands of Black residents in the southern U.S. Specifically, they demanded an end to segregation, as well as voting rights and equal pay for Black people. Keep in mind, at the time, Black Americans were being asked to fight overseas in the name of democracy while being denied basic civil and human rights at home. October 22nd is the National Day of Protest to Stop Police Brutality. The October 22nd Coalition to Stop Police Brutality, Repression, and the Criminalization of a Generation has been mobilizing annually to expose the epidemic of police brutality. Go to october22.org for more information on the national effort. Here in North Alabama and across the country, working class people, especially working class minorities, have been subjected to police violence, and I believe it's important for the labor movement to be clear in our opposition to police violence and work towards a more just, equitable society. October 22nd is also the 50th anniversary of the founding of SORWUC in Vancouver, British Columbia. The Service, Office, and Retail Workers Union of Canada was an independent union established by a founding convention of 24 women. Its goal was to represent and organize occupations that were excluded from the traditional trade unions of the time. Most of the workers SORWUC organized were women. Their legal battles centered around struggles for equal pay, maternity leave, living wages, legislation against sexual harassment, and gender and race-based discrimination in the workplace. October 23rd is the 120th anniversary of the end of the Great Anthracite Coal Strike, which lasted from May 12th to October 23rd, 1902. 147,000 Pennsylvania coal miners went on strike over wages, working conditions, and union recognition. President Teddy Roosevelt appointed mediators to arbitrate the negotiations between the coal operators and miners because the strike threatened to shut down the winter fuel supply to all major cities, obviously creating great hardship for American citizens and businesses. The miners were able to achieve a 10% pay increase and a reduction in workday hours. October 29th is the 10th anniversary of the hurricane and superstorm Sandy. Sandy began in the Bahamas on October 22nd and moved up the east coast of the U.S., making landfall on October 29th near Atlantic City, New Jersey. The storm caused more than 150 deaths and left more than $70 billion in property damage. The storm hit during a full moon and high tide, maximizing its destructive coastal flooding. The storm surge reached a record 13 feet. The disaster should have brought into focus the consequences of climate change. These disasters, which seem to be growing in both quantity and severity every year, disproportionately hurt working class people and continually expose how governments and businesses are ill-equipped to meet the needs of the people in times of crisis. The anniversary of Sandy is a good time to think about how we can grow and support mutual aid networks because ultimately, each other is all we got.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.